Good evening once again. So the concept we're going to start with today is going to be the experimental proof for the semi-conservative mode of DNA replication. So right after the scientists Watson and Crick gave rise to the double helix DNA structure, right? They proposed what? The DS DNA, double helical, double standard DNA structure. They also proposed a mechanism for the replication, and that was the semi conservative mode of DNA replication. Now what do we mean by semi conservative is when the DNA is going to replicate, the new strands of DNA are going to, new DNA molecule is going to be formed, and that new DNA molecule is going to be consisting of an older or parental DNA molecule and a new DNA molecule. So if I'm going to have, let's say, two DNA molecule, one DNA molecule, double helix, that is, I think we had discussed, but again, quickly, I'm going to tell you. So 5 prime to 3 prime, and this is going to be opposite, 5 prime to 3 prime again. So here, when the DNA is going to replicate,
Daddy को तो मोर class चल चोर
please switch off the
मोर
microphone.
class चल चुको
Money, Srima, switch off the microphone. So here what we will get is, here we will get the first one, let's say 5 prime to 3 prime, right? So we'll have the 5 prime to 3 prime molecule. Let's keep it here as it is. Along with that, we'll have a new strand of DNA. Okay, so here I'm going to use this blue color to indicate the new strand. I don't know if you can see that. Just use the light, maybe. Is it better? I hope it is. And here, right? So here, what are the numbering again? 5 prime to 3 prime, and here 5 prime to 3 prime. So there will be another strand, right? We have the parental strand, 5 prime to 3 prime here. So this one, 5 prime to 3 prime, and here we are going to have the new strand formed. Okay, and here the new strand is going to be from again 5 prime to, always remember we have to write in the 5 prime to 3 prime direction. I'll tell you why. So what is the point of doing all these things? What you see here is in both of these DNA molecules, this is one DNA molecule, this is the second one. So in both of these DNA molecule, what happens is this is the new DNA strand. And on either case, right, this one here, this is the parental, I think, Swatik, please switch off your microphones. Okay, and here you are going to have the parental DNA strand, right? This is parental DNA strand, and this also here is the parental DNA strand. So the point is, when we talk about the DNA replication, which is semi-conservative, we are going to have each DNA having a parental DNA strand that was acting as the template, right? I said these are like the mold, template DNA, and we are going to have a new DNA strand that is going to be made out of that. So once you understand what is semi-conservative nature, we have to understand how did the scientists, right, Mesenchel and Stahl, actually proved it to be semi-conservative in nature. So to understand that, let's start the process of understanding that. So what they have done is they have grown right. So what they have done is they have grown the E. coli bacteria. E. coli, Escherichia coli. In what? In a growth medium. So E. coli in growth medium. And this growth medium is going to be consisting of a carbon source and a nitrogen source. But what modification did the scientists do is they modified the nitrogen source, and the nitrogen source was changed into the heavier isotope of the nitrogen. And the heavier isotope of nitrogen is the 15
15N.
N, right? That is what we have learned. Now this 15N, how did we supply it? It was in the ammonium chloride, NH4Cl. That was the 15 NH4Cl. 15 NH4Cl means that this particular nitrogen is heavier than the regular nitrogen. So this is our heavier isotope of nitrogen. Right, remember this. So the E. coli in the beginning was grown in a medium that was containing the 15N ammonium chloride. And that's why what is going to happen? Here, the DNA is going to be having the 15 ammonium chloride. And that's why the DNA here is going to be heavier DNA. Now, why heavier DNA? Because the entire DNA molecule, anyway, the DNA molecule is going to have the nitrogen because we know the nitrogen bases are there. It is going to be a very important component of the biomolecules. And because of that, the DNA, which is going to receive or which is going to make the molecule, DNA molecule, with the help of the nitrogen, is going to use only 15N because that is what is available. That's why the DNA becomes heavier. Now, what they have done is they have grown this E. coli for many generations. And after that, what they have done, they have taken a sample of the cell and they have run through, right? After this, what they have done, they have run through, they have separated the DNA based on density gradient centrifugation. So the salt gradient they have created, what is that? Cesium chloride, CSCl, cesium chloride based density gradient centrifugation, right? And when they do this, what is going to happen is there is going to be separation of the DNA molecule based on what? Based on the density, based on the weight of the DNA molecule. So here, the cesium chloride based density gradient centrifugation help us to separate the DNA based on its density. Now, what were the observations? We are going to come back to that. But after this, right, in the first step, what they did? He has grown them in 15N. Now, in second, after let's say 20 minutes, right, or in the next generation, now E. coli grown in the regular 14 NH4Cl, right? So the regular ammonium chloride. And because of this, the entire DNA here, right, now whichever new DNA forms, right, so here the new DNA strand, they will contain what? They will contain 14N. So this 14N DNA, it is going to be lighter DNA strand. They will give us to what? A lighter DNA strand because the molecular weight is going to, because the molecular weight of the nitrogen is going to be slightly lesser than the 15N. So the density of the DNA molecule that is going to form here is going to be lesser. Now after 20 minutes, so after this again, what? After this, again there is going to be CSCl based centrifugation, right? And then the third step again, what is going to happen is after 20 minutes, right? Why 20 minutes? Because 20 minutes is going to be one generation. So we allow the E. coli to grow in this ammonium chloride 14N, 14N case, 14N nitrogen for 20 minutes so that one generation is completed. That means when we say about one generation in case of bacteria, a DNA replication cycle is completed. And that's take around 18 minutes. We'll talk about that at a later point of time. In around 18-20 minutes, the entire process is completed. So after 20 minutes, we again take another sample, we extract the DNA, and we again run the CSCl based centrifugation, right? So here we run centrifugation. So how many we have taken till now? We are taking 3 different samples. One is right at the beginning of the process of the experiment where we are growing the E. coli in 15 ammonium chloride, 15N ammonium chloride. After that, when we grow them, when we started growing them, or when we transfer them into a media containing 14 NH4Cl, we have taken one sample for centrifugation. And after 20 minutes of that, that is your, let's say this is our first generation, next second generation after 20 minutes. And in that, again, we have taken one more sample and we have done the DNA centrifugation. Now, what did we find, or what did the scientist find in that case? Let's understand that. Okay, so first one, let's draw it here. Second one here, and third one here, right? So first one means what? When it is growing, or it was 15 NH4Cl, and this is at 14 NH4Cl, and this is also as 14 NH4Cl. So it is after, let's say, 20 minutes. So you can say this is our first generation, right, in NH4Cl, and this is our second generation, that is again after 20 minutes in the NH4Cl condition. Now, what kind of bands they did? So what we are doing? We are actually, see here, this entire thing is going to be covered with what? This is going to be cesium chloride. This entire thing is going to be filled with cesium chloride salt. Right, this all is going to be CSCl. So what bands they got? Now in the first case, they got the band which was pretty heavy. Okay, so this was somewhere towards the bottom. So it is going to be heavier, and that's why they are coming towards the bottom side. Now in the second case, they found a band, right? If I just mark it just for reference, you can see here. Now the second one, they found it to be lighter than the first one. And in the third case, what they found is there is this lighter band, okay, but there is also another band, and this band is further lighter than the previous case. It is even further lighter. Clear? Now you do not see this heavy band. Are you following me? Can you all hear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine.
Yes, sir.
Good. So here what we see, we do not see the denser DNA molecule, right? Denser DNA molecule in the second case here after 20 minutes when we are growing them in 14 NH4Cl. But we do see this medium band in the next generation after 20 minutes. Now, why these things? Why it is possible? Let's understand that. So here, let's say you are going to have 2 strands of DNA, and as we have grown the DNA entirely on 15 NH4Cl, these 2 DNA will be made up of what band? Will it be 15 or 14 or what? Will it be different? This band
15.
is going to be, right? Both 15. Will be, very good. Both are going to be 15N and 15N. So this is our DNA molecule. Now coming here, after that what is going to happen? How many bands we are going to get? We are going to get four different strands of DNA.
115, 114.
Yes, very good. So let's say I'm going to represent this parental one, 15N, with the white color. So we are going to have 1 and here one more, and both of these are 15N. Along with that, as it is semi-conservative in nature, we are going to have the second band here and second band here. Okay, just to make things clear, we will just put a arrow mark so that we understand what context we are talking about. Okay, so here and here. So this new strands which I have put in this pink color, it is going to be hot. 14 or 15? 14 or 15?
14, sir.
14.
14.
Can you tell me
14.
why? Can you tell me why we will get 14 and not 15?
Semi-conservative nature.
Yes, because it is semi-conservative. Yes, because it is semi-conservative, and at the same time, we are providing 14 NH4Cl and not 15. Keep this in mind. Because we are providing, what are we providing in the medium? 14 NH4Cl. So 15, which was there earlier, It is over now. It is no more available. So we do have the earlier, right? We do have the template DNA from the previous generation, parental DNA from the previous generation that is acting as a parental DNA or the template DNA that is made up of the 15 nitrogen. Now the new strand which is going to form, it is forming with a 14N because the new DNA molecule is going to be made up of 14N as we discussed. And because of this, remember, we had here 15N, 15N. This is going to be 15N, 15N. And because of that, it was heavy, right? It was heavy. Now what we have here, it is a 15N, 14N. Right, one 15N molecule and one 14N strand. So definitely when you're going to have two heavy strand of DNA, the weight, the density of the DNA is going to be higher compared to the situation when you're going to have one strand of the DNA that is made up of 15N and one strand of the DNA double helix made up of 14N. So here the density is reduced, and as the density is reduced, the band, right, the DNA band cannot travel towards the bottom. It travels lesser. The heavier the DNA density, the further they're actually going to move. The bottom side they're going to move. And because you're going to have lighter DNA, because of 15N and 14N, the DNA strand, DNA band does not come down. It actually travels slightly lesser than the previous case. Are you clear till now? Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now in this case, what you're going to have? You're going to have 4 different bands, right? To represent, I'm going to take only one. I'm going to take only, let's say this one, or maybe let's talk about all the 4 different bands. So let's say I'm going to have this parental band. So here, okay, let's put it here. So this is our parental strand, 15N. And then we are going to have this strand all the way. Let's say I'm going to put it here so that we'll have space for the remaining one. So this is going to be our 15N parental strand. Now these 2 are also there, right? So let's put one here, right? That is going to be 14N, and we are going to have one more strand here. That is going to be again the 14N. And just to represent the new strand, I'm going to use this green color so that you understand the new strand position. So here we are going to have a new strand that is again 14N, right? So 15N, 14N. Okay, I'll write on top itself 14N. Now with this also you're going to get a new strand, and that is going to be your, right? So this is going to be again 14N, 14N. Now this one, again it is going to be 14N, 14N. And here we are going to get 14N, 15N. Right? So what do you get it here?
So 614N, 215N.
Yes. So did we get it all right? Yes. Okay. We will not talk about individuals. One thing I think Preeti or somebody was saying. So this is from one generation. This is from our second generation. This is from the third generation. Clear? Now, what we have to understand is we are not going to talk about the individual strand here. I'm just making it so that you understand it. But in reality, what is going to happen? These 2 are one DNA double helix. These 2 are one DNA double helix. These 2 are one DNA double helix, and these 2 are a single DNA double helix. Now, here what we have? 15N, 14N. Now, this one is our 15N, 14N. Agree?
Hybrid one, sir.
Yes, 15N, 15.
Yes, sir.
Sir, sorry, Preeti?
Hybrid one.
Yes, good. So that is our hybrid one with a medium density. Now, what we have, these 2 are hybrid. So this 14N, 15N, and here 14N, 15N. They are the hybrid with a medium density when we talk about the centrifugation. Now, along with that, what we are getting is getting something new. Now, we are getting 14N, 14N, and 14N, 14N, 2 DNA double helix. And that, my dear student, is going to be this lighter strand 14N, 14N. So what the scientist Messenson and Stahl they observed was these. They did not observe this. They did not know about this particular down part. They did observe this centrifugation and this particular DNA band. Now based on that, they're going to predict that this could have happened. Now if this is not the way how the DNA is replicated, how else do you expect this particular medium stranded or medium density DNA molecule to be there? It is simply impossible if the DNA replication is not semi-conservative. If the DNA replication is not semi-conservative, we will not get this hybrid of 15N 14N strand of DNA molecule. And this basically gave a complete final proof that the DNA was actually semi-conservatively replicated. Now a similar experiment was also done by in plants, right? And the scientist was Tyler, and he worked with the plant Vicia faba. Okay, this was the plant, and what you found is actually here he worked with, right, the pattern or the replication pattern in DNA and chromosome. But here also what he used actually is the thymidine molecule, thymidine isotope or thymidine molecule with heavier isotope of hydrogen, right? So here like the scientist here, sorry, I'm sorry, I have not written the scientist name here. We all know it is going to be Messelson and Stahl's experiment, and here they had used was the 15 NH4Cl, heavy isotope of nitrogen. And Tyler, who actually worked on the plant with Vicia faba, he actually used a heavier isotope of hydrogen, and the biomolecule that he used was the thymidine. In that he had used a heavier isotope of nitrogen. And he also found that it is actually replicating in a semi-conservative method or semi-conservative mode. So this entire experiment that is done by Messenson and Stahl and Tyler proves that the DNA replication is a semi-conservative mode of DNA replication. Now, are you clear today? All are clear today, or are you having still doubts? Please ask. All are clear today?
No doubt, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, fine, very good. Anybody else? All are fine?
Yes, sir. Fine, sir.
Okay, very good, very good.
Second generation, what medium he has taken, sir?
Okay, second generation, right? See, second generation means, are you asking about this or this one? This second generation, I think, right?
Second generation. Yes.
Second generation, yes. This one, he has, see, it was grown, in the beginning it was grown completely for many generation on 15 NH4Cl. To make sure that all the DNA molecule or all the biomolecules are actually going to be incorporated with the heavier isotope of nitrogen. We had to start with that. But after that, once we transfer it to the first generation, after we transfer it to the 14 NH4Cl. So first generation, second generation, and the next generation, it was all grown in the regular NH4Cl. That is 14 NH4Cl, not 15. Okay, it is 14N. Clear, Satabda?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So I hope you're clear with that. And the next concept from here we have to move on is the concept on DNA replication. So let's start with that. Should we start now? 10 minutes are there. Basics, let us start. And again, we'll continue in the next class. Okay. Chalo.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. One second. Let me clear it. Okay, so just a quick introduction to the process of DNA replication. Now, when we talk about DNA replication mechanism, right, we have to understand, right, we have already learned that the DNA replicates semi-conservatively. That is, you're going to have a parental strand and you're going to have a newer strand. That means the older strand or the parental strand acts as a template for the new DNA molecule. And based on the sequence of the DNA of the parental strand, we are going to have the new DNA molecule. So one term, one word I would right now that is going to tell you, and that is going to be complementarity. Now, why do I use this word and why it is important? So as I said, if you're going to have a DNA molecule, and this DNA molecule is going to give rise to two strands or two DNA molecule strands, and in each of these cases, this is going to act as the template DNA. The sequence that we have here of ATGC, that is going to determine the sequence on the new strand. So here, this is my new strands, and these two new strands are based on these two parental strand. So the sequence on these two new strand depends on the sequence of the parental strand. So in simple term, if I'm going to have a sequence, let's say A, T, T, G, C, C, T, and the complementary of that is going to be what? T, A, C,
A,
G,
C,
G, A, right? So this is my sequence, complementary sequence. Now imagine for a minute, again it is going to change later on, just I'm trying to convey the information. So imagine if this is my strands, new strands. So this is my parental strand. The new strands here, these two are going to be based on simple complementarity. That is, if my sequence or if the DNA molecule is going to consisting of the nitrogen base or the nuclear A, for example, adenine, then in the new strands we are going to form the thymine. Similarly, if it is going to be cytosine, we are going to get guanine in the new strand, and reverse, vice versa. If you are going to have T, you're going to get A, and if you're going to have G, you're going to get C. So the sequence depends on the parental strand. That's why they're called the template strand, based on which we are getting the new strand. And again, all of these are based on a simple fact of the rule of complementarity or the base pairing that we are talking about, right? And there is a very important molecule that we're going to talk about. That is going to be the DNA dependent DNA polymerase. And this DNA polymerase is going to polymerize the new strand of DNA. Based on what? Based on the parental strand. Along with that, this process is going to require a large amount of energy, right? It's a biochemical process, a biochemical reaction. And for this biochemical process to go on, the large amount of energy has to be provided from somewhere. And there comes the DNTPs. Now, what are DNTPs? Deoxyribonucleotide triphosphates. Again, I'll tell you these tomorrow. DNTP stands for deoxyribonucleotide triphosphates. Now, these are nothing but the nucleotides, deoxynucleotides, that are going to join with each other by the phosphorester bond and form the DNA molecule or the polynucleotide chain. These DNTPs are going to have a secondary role also. And this secondary role is nothing but providing energy for the chain to form, for the DNA molecule to form. So the DNTPs are they are going to help in polymerization, and also they're going to provide energy that is going to be required for this entire process. Anyways, so apart from that, what does we require? We require the enzyme, DNTPs we require the enzyme. And what is the enzyme here? That is going to be the DNA polymerase. Okay, and it is in long it is called DNA dependent DNA polymerase because it depends on the DNA to function. And remember one thing, I always put that 5 prime to 3 prime. I always used to put that, right? 5 prime to 3 prime. Arrow mark always was on the 3 prime end. Why? Very simple, because this DNA polymerase is going to polymerize the new strand from the 5 prime direction to the 3 prime direction, right? So the direction or the direction of polymerization of the DNA polymerase is going to be from the 5 prime end of the DNA to the 3 prime end of the DNA. Now can you tell me how the complementary strand is going to be? Suppose the DNA molecule is going to, let's say, or this polymerization is going to be from 5 prime to 3 prime. Now the template DNA on which it is going to work, that is going to be opposite of this. So if this is the template DNA, the template DNA is going to be opposite direction, and that is going to be from the 3 prime to 5 prime. Always what we do, we read this, the sequence of your DNA from always the left side, left to right. So this is my 3 prime to 5 prime, and this is my 5 prime to 3 prime. So polymerization is going to take place from 5 prime to 3 prime. So the template DNA is going to be in the opposite 3 prime to 5 prime direction. Clear on this much? Are you all clear
Yes,
on this?
sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Mansi is there?
Yes, sir.
Mansi Manasmita is there? Is she
Yes,
online?
sir.
Okay. Mansi, can you hear and clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else is having network issue? Biswaranjan, maybe I think from his side the audio is not coming properly. Anyways, I'm uploading all these videos on the channel, so you can even see that if you are having a little bit of a network issue. So with that, today the basics of the DNA replication mechanism, I'm going to stop. I think we are already out of time. I think 2 minutes are there. So next class, that is we have it tomorrow, we are going to start with the detailed process of DNA replication mechanism. Now, I'm not going to go with only the textbook. I'm going to go a little bit in detail about the mechanism, for the simple fact that we have to understand actually why things happen, why the DNA, form the DNA replication fork, and how the process goes on. So that might be slightly more than what you have in the textbooks. So try to understand and try to cope up. And at the end, anyway, I'll tell you of the entire thing that I have taught, how to remember and what to read for the CBSE examination. But again, you all should have a very good idea on the process, so that any question asked on this particular mechanism, you should be able to write without any difficulty. I hope this concepts what I'm trying to convey is clear to you all. If you have any problem, you should please let me know so that I can clarify it at in a different manner altogether. Okay. So I hope we are done for today. If you have nothing else, we can close the session.
Sir, one doubt about exam, sir.
Okay, fine. With the exams, fine. Tell me.
Sir, diagram-based question will come, sir.
Of course, my dear. Whom are you talking with? Ramakant Biswal will give
No,
question
sir.
on
Online
diagram.
exam.
Sir, online exam or offline exam? I think you already written some of the exams, right? So in that only I have asked
Yes, sir.
the diagram based question. So diagram based question is going to be there, and I'm going to tell you all the best. And if you do not study, my dear, and if you try to cheat in the examination, let me tell you, if you try to cheat in the examination, online exam, this particular software that we are going to have, the moment you leave the Chrome browser, it is going to crash and again restart the entire examination. And if you leave, sometimes what happens, it is going to auto submit. That means 5 questions you have written out of 35, you are going to be graded only based on the 5. Next time you cannot attempt. So there's very less chance of cheating also if at all you're planning. Some of you did last time, but in this software you may not be. So be honest in writing. Okay. Read from today. We have time for the examination. All the best for that.